Vino Lion Media presents Business First.
Hi, all, and welcome to a new episode of Business First with Sonia Aline. I am your host, and today I want to talk about movement. That's not a term that's often associated with business, particularly around how you can overcome problems or overcome challenges. Resilience is usually the word that we use, but I feel that movement can actually be a very important piece of what becomes resilience or how you can find yourself to be more resilient. And so the person in studio with us is someone who I think is going to be great to have a conversation with around that topic. We just reconnected over social media, one of the many blessings of social media. She is someone who I worked with years ago in the publishing business. She's legendary, and I don't mean that in terms of age, just in terms of experience, legendary in terms of the work that she's done in the natural hair space. And so I'm excited to reconnect with her, but I'm even more excited to share her and her expertise with you all today. So please welcome Debra Hare-Bey.
Hello, Sonia. Hello, audience. I'm so excited to be here and to have this wonderful conversation we're about to have.
Absolutely. Thank you so much
Yeah.
for being here. Like I said, I'm glad we've been able to reconnect. You are the CEO of Inc.
Yes.
Which there's a lot to encompass there, and so I want to talk about your journey. We worked together in the 90s, which was an interesting time. I was just thinking about that with some friends the other day, how the 90s for us, I guess, was like the 60s for a previous generation. Like that was the era of, hip hop became an industry, neo soul and ghetto fabulousness and Black magazines, there was just Essence and Ebony Jet and Black Enterprise. And then there was just like a whole new slew of fashion magazines that came into the fold, as well as shows in Living Color and Living Single, which is how we reconnected because Erica Alexander gave you a shout out recently on her Instagram to talk about how you created those looks around natural hair at a time when women really weren't doing natural hair. Now everybody's into it and everybody understands we have a passion for it now. But you were in the space. You were one of those people who made us realize that natural hair is cool.
Yeah, it's so cool.
It is
past
so cool.
And present. Cool.
Past and present.
Right. Past and present. Right.
So tell us a little bit about your journey to creating the Red Salon, which is how I was introduced to you. And I want to talk about, when we reconnected, we hadn't spoken in so long, and I didn't know that you had hit a really, really rough spot in your business. And so that's where I want to talk about the movement and being able to move through to where you are today. But just give us a little background in terms of how the Red Salon has evolved into what is now Inc.
Yes. So, I'm going to go back just a little to the 90s. That was such a magical time, Sonia. I often reflect back at how pure and how dedicated that I was to the opportunity and option to fall in love with natural hair again, because that was something I was extremely passionate about. I wanted people to feel the same exact way that I did in understanding the beauty and the dynamicness of natural hair, right? And so Red Salon, I was fortunate enough that lots of entertainers literally walked through the door. And not just that, my coveted everyday client that came to me with hopes of walking out with a style that they could be proud of, that represented them, and they knew that they were in a safe place because they knew that they were going to have amazing hair care. And that's what I'm really proud about, right? And that's going to fast forward me to Oh My Heavenly Hair. So about 2012 or so, I'm in a place of evolution, right? I'm always evolving and growing and trying to be my best self. right? And so in doing that, I understood the importance of product more. I understood the connection between hair and body, right? And so ultimately to have healthy hair, it's a it's a 360, right? It is not just hair growing out of your head, but how does it get stimulated to grow? So it's that body, it's that um, the food, it's the exercise, it's your mental state. And so understanding that connection, I then morphed into being a vegan brand. And so I started to um, really offer more vegan options and just turn the salon into a vegan resource for healthy hair care and body. And so that just me understanding the whole dynamic of the connection allowed me to move forward and create a salon for people to come to and um, really get an experience, right? A whole experience of healthy hair care. So I'm not hearing you, my dear.
Sorry.
Okay.
Um, what helped you move from doing great
Yeah.
styles to making it more of a holistic and understanding the importance?
Yeah.
You said that you understood more the importance of product,
Yes.
right? But what helps you understand, particularly, and I think what was really important in what you talked about is that you are someone who evolves. That's part of the
Yes.
movement, right?
Yes.
That we're not staying stagnant. It could easily be, I'm this great hairstylist, I'm one of the best hairstylists, and
Yeah.
you could easily stay there.
Yeah.
Right. And so what do you think it is that about you, and maybe it is your just process of always
Mm-hmm.
wanting to evolve, but to be able to now make it a holistic property?
You know, health is something that we can't take lightly. And health is an all in sort of a thing, right? And so my trajectory has always been health. I happen to love hair. I'm not a doctor, but I understand the connection, right? And so it was very important for me to have my clients understand the importance of the connection. However, if I approach health first, people disconnect. People will listen if I talk about hair, right? And so I make hair that opportunity to be healthier.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
And so was that why you created the brand?
That is why I created the brand.
Okay. And so explain to people what a vegan product, particularly for hair,
Yes.
what does that mean?
So for hair, it's the same as for food that you're putting in your mouth, right? And it is those things that don't involve any meat byproducts, right? And there are so many things that include meat byproducts. It's also the way that it is sourced. It is also not being cruel to animals. It is also being recognized by those regulatory boards that will procure vegan institution and vegan products, right? And
Right.
so it's all of that.
And so that was new for me too,
Mm-hmm.
because there were certain things, on your website where you say it has no beeswax, no
Yes,
honey.
yes,
Like,
yes.
those are kind of like foundational things
It
in natural hair
is.
care,
It is.
right?
It
At least
is.
that's what
Yes,
we thought over the
yes,
years. And
yes,
so for those not to
yes.
exist, is interesting, because that I didn't. You just think of honey is natural, right?
And it
Beeswax is
is, but
natural,
it's that is coming from the bee,
but it's coming
right?
from the
And
bee.
so here's the thing:
Exactly.
Om is natural, vegan, and organic. And so we do
And
have, like, I'm getting ready to come out with a product that is, it's really more for the winter in that it really seals in moisture, so it's a little bit heavier and a little bit thicker, and that has beeswax in it.
okay. All
Right.
righty.
And so that's why it is natural, vegan, and organic. So it's not just vegan.
All right. So
Yeah.
thank you for
You're
that,
welcome.
because that was a learning for me
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
So you began this process in 2009,
Yeah.
roughly.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
And
actually,
so
Sonia, I just realized because I had to do some business things and I'm looking up when I incorporated. That was in 2006.
you incorporated in 2006.
2006. I didn't even remember that.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
2006.
And so it was not an easy road
It was not.
for you.
It was
It was an
not.
exciting road in the beginning. So you
Yes.
had so first tell us the dream, right?
Yes.
Tell us how you had imagined this to happen in 2006 when you incorporated the
Okay.
business?
So I was and am that girl that you saw on the Super Braiding Hair. That was me, Sonia. I so enjoyed loving it. It was something that was a way to do my art. I didn't even realize that's what I was doing at the time, right? And I love texture. I love, love, love texture, right? So fast forward now, I have a regular job, a non artsy creative job, right? And I have my first daughter. And I realized that I did not want to leave my daughter in the hands of someone else. And so I said, well, what is it that I can do? Well, I knew I loved to braid. I knew that I had been braiding in my leisure. I knew that I had, taken clients here and there. And I thought, well, you know what? I love natural hair. I love the idea of being an entrepreneur, and I love the idea that I can raise my children, or hands on, right? And so, and you know this about me, I just don't kind of have to do anything. And so, in that moment when I decided I wanted to do natural hair, I went to school. Now, there was no school for natural hair, so I'm a licensed cosmetologist, and I have a whole nother story about how I was instrumental in bringing the natural hair license to New York. So it was in that moment that I realized that I wanted to do natural hair and then, be very professional about it and take clients. And so the idea that I could make a living in a professional space, because if you go back and think about, I'm going to say the word beautician,
Mm-hmm.
that was something that was not that well received, believe it or not. Doing hair was something you did when you were not educated.
Mm.
Right? And so your parents really wanted you to do something else. But if you were not able to do something else, then you had that as an option to
Wow.
to make money. So I wanted to change the trajectory of that. I wanted it to be professional. I wanted it to be beautiful. I wanted it to be healthy, and that's what my goal was in the natural hair space.
And you absolutely did that.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
your space was back in the 90s was a
Yes.
beautiful space to
Yes.
visit. Like you said, there were celebrities that had come
Yeah.
through, and then you had a strong clientele
Yes.
that had bought into this idea that my natural hair is not only good enough, it's beautiful, and I can be creative with it and still
Yes.
be professional
Yes.
and still present how I'd like and be
Yes.
comfortable in who I am. At what point did you think that now was the time to introduce product?
So along the way, Sonia, in every professional salon, your product, your back bar is how you make additional money. And that's very important because when the client is not with you, she needs to be able to have access to your concepts, right? And your concepts come through your products, right? So I always knew that I wanted to have it. And even then, I was a resource for other major brands like Revlon, and they would send products to the salon for me to test. And so I knew that I wanted products. So around 2009, um, 2010, I thought, well, I had been carrying other people's products. I wanted to carry my own products. And so I started
Mm,
on that journey, and it really was a journey.
all right. So you had big
I
dreams
did.
and big
I
expectations
did.
for this product. When we spoke, you had bought a building,
Hmm.
all right, and the building was to do what?
So, in my thinking, right, because you're trying to cover off on all bases. And so, in the meantime, before stores picked it up, I had a retail space. So, that was the building. I hired a celebrity spokesperson. I hired a professional PR firm. And so I'm ready, right? I'm ready to roll out. However, it didn't go that way. It didn't go that way.
And what was it that halted you?
Not being able to get the product, Sonia. So I had everything ready, but now I don't have the product, right? And how
And
devastating is that?
right, so who was responsible for getting the product, or so you this was the person who was supposed to develop the product for
Right.
you?
So I hired an herbalist. And I hired him with great expectation. And this was a gentleman that I worked with for years, Sonia. I worked with him for years. He developed his product line. I used it. I loved it. My clients loved it. And so now when it's time to formulate my line, why wouldn't I use him? I had been using his products for years. And even before I talked to him in great length about the expectation, um, I did the research, so I knew what I wanted. Once I realized what I wanted, I made sure he understood what I wanted. So it wasn't something I kind of jumped up and did. I talked to him at great length because I knew once I did this, it was going to take off. And I wanted to
Right.
make sure he was able to handle it.
Right. And
Right?
he assured you
This
that he
was a
was.
2-year process, Sonia, before we even went to development. So it wasn't
Oh,
like
before.
I
So 2
called,
years before development.
yes. So this is
Okay.
me researching, this is me talking to him, and this is me actually paying for it because it's a very costly product. It's a very costly
Wow.
venture to come out with a product line, right? And so, to my dismay, everything that we talked about that he assured me would happen, got up to a certain point, and then it just did not happen.
And so what was when the product is not available,
Yes,
what now happens?
a domino of everything falling, literally, right? Because
Wow.
now I have a building that I have to pay a mortgage on. I now have a celebrity spokesperson who's expecting to be paid because we signed a contract.
Right.
A PR firm that's expecting to be paid because we signed a contract, right? And I still have to interface with my clients, right? Because that's how I make my money,
Right. Right.
right?
So when we started off the show, I said I wanted to talk about movement as a foundational piece of what resilience looks
Yeah.
like. Because by what year is this now? Is this 2010,
This
2011?
is more like 2011, I feel like.
Okay.
So much of it, Sonia, is it's such a hard place to visit. It's such a hard place to reflect back because it's extremely painful. And when I say I
Mm-hmm.
lost everything, I lost everything. And not only is it stressful for me going through it, but that's my whole family, right?
Right.
Because that's income that's now that I've taken, right, to put somewhere else that now is not coming back,
Right.
right? So I'm somewhere to, I don't know if I started the process before 2009, but it's in that 2009-10 kind of space. I feel like around 2011, 2012, I kind of started to pivot and now reemerge,
Right.
right?
Right. And
Reemerge.
you know, I can't imagine. I can't imagine what that must have been like for you. But even when you were retelling
Hmm.
the story to me, it was hard for me to
Yes.
listen to as well because you talked about not wanting night to come,
Yes.
but then getting through the night and not wanting the morning to come.
Yes.
Right. And if you could explain to the audience why, like, every part of the day was so painful for you
Every
to
part of the day,
experience.
Sonia. So if I could make it through the day and I had the best clients in the world and they didn't deserve to not have a great service, right? So I had to make sure that I was ready for them. So that was that smile that I had to put on my face. Once I left my client, Sonia, and I got in my house, and I'm sorry if I'm getting a little emotional because it's really difficult. Once I got in my house, I would get on that couch and I could not move. I couldn't move, right? And so now it's starting to come down, right? And night is coming. And you get a little bit of a reprise because night is coming and that day is done. And you have a moment, right? But then the thought of, okay, well, night is here, but then morning will be here. And I couldn't take that either because morning was the start of another day, and another day was just more bills that I couldn't pay. So it's just like you're on this loop. You're on this loop that it's really, you're just trying to figure it out. How am I going to get out of this?
And that's what I'd like to get a sense of from you is how do you, right, get to what is it that allows you to take that next step when it looks scary, um, it's unsure, when you really don't know, it just looks bad. Like there's
Yes.
nothing good that you can see on the other side, but you know you still have to, and we know, right? And I've experienced this. There are people who take their lives
Mm-hmm.
in these kind
Yeah.
of conditions.
Yeah.
There are people who turn to substance abuse. There are people who leave their families, right?
Yeah.
Because the stress or not knowing how to manage the stress is just that significant, that burdensome.
Yeah.
And so, what is it that you think actually allowed you, number one, to get up in the morning, as difficult as that was, and be able to move through to whatever the day was going to have in store for you?
So I was fortunate enough, Sonia, to have an amazing husband, right? So he was that backbone of when I could not pay anything. He paid for everything, right? And so that was a saving grace, right? However, when you are an entrepreneur and when you believe that you are smart and you've done your due diligence and you've created this thing, you are, it's not, you have to see it to fruition. You have to, right? So although I couldn't take that road because that road was now closed, I could no longer, he was a non starter, right? This gentleman that I created this line with, right? And as I explained to you, I had an amazing lawyer who said, Deb, I win my cases. This gentleman doesn't have any money. So I advise you to restart your company, which is what I did, right? So now I now had to do research like I am the herbalist and I'm the chemist. So now I'm researching the process. I'm researching ingredients, and I had some knowledge because I've been in hair care at that point for so long, right? So I knew what I wanted for my line specifically. And so having gone through that experience, Sonia, it gave me so much information that I needed to have and not allow someone else to have that information. You see how God works,
Absolutely.
right? And
Yeah,
so that was
yeah.
the information that I needed to know, right?
Right.
And so
Yeah.
now I have it, right? And so now back in production again,
Right.
right?
The other important thing that to thank God for your lawyer is sometimes it is necessary to just walk away.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
Sometimes there'll be people around us will be like, don't walk away, fight. Like, you're not going to let him get away with that. Like, how dare he do this? Like there's all of that. Right. And you could have spent a lot of time focusing on how I'm going to get him back and
Mm-hmm.
how I'm going to make him pay and how I'm going to make him fix this. So even to walk away, was it because your lawyer
Yes,
suggested it?
yes.
Because you wanted to fight?
Of course. I won't even say all
Yeah.
the things that I really wanted to do,
Okay.
right? I'm
I
not even going to
know.
say that, right? And in real
I can
life,
only
we have to be
imagine.
very careful about that particular time because you could do
Hmm.
something that you will really regret,
Yes, regret. I
right?
know
But we
that.
have to understand that what goes around comes around.
Yeah.
And I will tell you many, and it's a small industry. So that means I had to see this person,
Mm.
right? Which was equally difficult. And he's going about his business, just living his life. And I am drowning, right? I
Wow.
remember seeing him walking down the street. And he said to me, Deb, I don't know what I did. I don't know why I did that, but I have to pay you back your money because everything I tried is not working,
Wow. He
right?
understood. An herbalist would understand
Yeah,
that.
right. But here's the thing,
Right.
I still never got paid.
Uh,
I still never got paid back. But here's the
oh,
thing. Thank you.
watch your,
Thank
yeah.
you. I now have to just leave it in the hands of the Lord, because
You
what can I
can.
do?
Right.
Right? That's
Right.
a
But
time that has passed, and now I have to focus on the now. How do I
right.
take my company and continue to go up?
And the benefit of that was, so how difficult was it to, um, because I know I can be like this sometimes when, if I'm engaged in a project and it's moving along smoothly, and then I hit a bump or a road stop or something happens, I can kind of just throw my hands up sometimes
Yes.
and not want to start over again. And so, what was there? A lot of self-talk, a lot of prayer, a lot of, what was it that said, you know what, I'm just gonna, I mean, you talked about the drive of being an entrepreneur,
Hmm.
right? Is that primarily it? Like, this is a dream that I have. I want to see it. And if I got to start over again, I'm just going to start over.
Yes, that is exactly it. Um, it was really important to me to have a product line. I was in love with the product line he created. Through doing my research, what I was able to create was amazing as well. And I wanted people to have that opportunity to have total health, right? Hair and body, right? And so that was really important, and important from a source that they can trust, right? God has had given me that idea to do the product line in the way that, first of all, to start it, right? And then to move it forward. So I didn't want to not do that.
Right. And I really want the audience to take that away, the importance of that. That's what the resilience is.
Yeah.
It's right. It's that moving. It's that I'm still going to take another step. It may seem small. I might have to start all over again, but it's really that taking that step and trusting that if I keep moving, all the other pieces are going to fall in line, or something is going to appear that's going to allow me to see where I have to go.
Yeah, Sonia, there's so many moving pieces, and I want to be very cautious about the way that I talk about what happened, simply because I started off by saying that I had my husband that really helped, right? So he paid a
Mm-hmm.
lot of the bills, because in real life, if you don't have access to money to
Mm-hmm.
take care of that debt, then that makes it more difficult, right? Because that debt did a lot of damage, a lot. My
I
credit
can
was so
imagine.
bad, it was negative, if that's even possible, right? And I can say today that I have A1 credit, right? And in the interim, I literally had 4 jobs at one point,
Mm.
right? So that's the real aspect of not just wanting something, right? But how you
Right.
actually going to fix it, pivot, restart.
Right.
Right. So that's
Right.
the real stuff that we have to talk about. Is more than just I want to do this. Well, how are you going to do it?
How are you going to do it?
Right. You have to have
Yeah.
that drive, obviously. And I had that drive, because who can do 4 jobs at the same
Right.
time?
Exactly. And I'm glad you said that, because I'm sure people would be like, oh, well, she had support. But yes, it's important that you had support, but you also had to do your part
I also
as
had to do
well.
my part. Absolutely. So
Yeah.
I was so
And that's the,
darn tired, but I wanted it. I wanted this to happen. I wanted it to happen, Sonia.
right. And that's what manifesting is, right? It's desire. Like,
Yes.
that's the first part of manifesting anything, is having the
Yeah.
desire for something. What do you think have been the biggest lessons in all of this for you?
Wow. So you think about that a lot, right? As painful as it is, because mistakes are opportunities to grow, right? And it's difficult, and growing is difficult. And so what I've come to is that sometimes God will give you a hard stop, right? And not that I was able to see signs along the way. I only saw signs as we got, when my money was already invested. Now I'm starting to see
Right.
things, right? I had a 9-year relationship, business relationship with this person. Nothing ever happened. Right. So
Um,
the only thing that I could come up with is that knowledge that I gained in doing the research after it folded is that information that I needed.
absolutely.
He would have had more control over my company than I would have had.
Wow.
I needed to have control over my company. You understand? Because
Absolutely.
he's
And
the
so,
manufacturer, right? So
Yeah.
I believe that that's what it was. I needed to have that information. I needed to be able to have that. I want this so bad that you pick yourself up and you go forward. Because entrepreneurship is not easy, Sonia. It's not easy. And I guess that was my test to see how bad I wanted, because I wanted
How
it.
bad you wanted it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now tell us about the product that is available for people to buy.
Yes. So it
What does your
is.
line entail?
Wow, I literally say it's from hair to toes, right? So it's amazing hair care and body care, from scalp scrubs to, an amazing hair bath body oil that will take care of your skin, whether you want to soak in it or make it a body conditioner. We have things like body scrubs and body candles and hair and body wash, and the line is primarily vegan, but there are some things, like I said, I'm coming out with the product with the beeswax in it. That's a one and done, meaning that it's multi-purpose. And that's what I love about my line so much, because many of the products are multi-purpose, right? And it has these
Right.
amazing ingredients, mostly from aloe base, that will truly take care of you, right? It's not magic, because you read a lot of these
Right.
projects and it's like this, you read a lot of product ingredients and it's like this magic. You put it on and all these things start to happen. Well, that's not all, right? We try to give
No.
you a real approach, incorporating healthy maintenance practices. That's what OM is about, right? Well,
Right.
I like to say a health based company. I'm not a doctor. I just have tried and
Right.
true experience. I've been in hair care for many, many, many years, and
Right.
so I can stand on what I know.
Right.
Right?
And you are a health coach.
I am a health coach.
Right.
Yeah,
So that's
I am a
important.
health coach.
You were saying that the products are multifaceted,
Yeah.
like the candle. So the
Yes.
candle you can burn,
And
but you
put
can
on
also
your
use it on your
skin.
body.
It's so
Okay.
good. It's so
All right.
good.
Explain for those who aren't familiar with
Yeah.
how you can use a candle on your
On your
skin.
body. So it's called luminescence and plant based, right? So it's an amazing soy product with essential oils. And you literally light it. And so that's your aromatherapy. And we know aromatherapy is equally important as some of the other health
Right.
benefits.
Right.
You would then bathe your skin, you would pat your skin dry. And that's the approach you should take with anything that you're going to put on your skin to seal in moisture. You have to have moisture to seal moisture in, right? So
Right.
you blow out that candle and then you dip. And when you
Wow.
dip and put that on your skin, Sonia, it is magical, literally. So you have that radiance, because we love a glow. And
Right.
then you
Yes, we
have
do.
that fragrance. And we don't use any fragrance oils at all essential oils,
Mm,
right? Which is
very
what my line
nice.
is based on, right? So I'm so
Okay.
proud of it, Sonia. Um, I'm looking forward to all the many places it can show up and be. And that's what I'm working. That's what I'm working on right now. Just broadening the
Wow.
brand, right?
Absolutely. So where
Yeah.
can we find all the different places where we can find
So
you?
right
Your
now you can find it on my website at ohmyheavenlyhair.com, and that's
okay.
ohmyheavenlyhair.com, and also at a wonderful boutique in Brooklyn, Bed-Stuy called Indigo Style. And you can
Mm.
find not the whole line, but you can certainly find some of the pieces there, in addition to finding the best vintage clothes.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
so
Okay. All right. So thank you for that.
you're
And all the
welcome.
other places that we can connect with you. You're on LinkedIn.
I'm on LinkedIn under Debra Hare-Bey. I'm also on social media, Instagram. For OM, the product store, it's underscore OMHHINC. And for the salon, I link it back to Red Salon. So it's
Nice.
underscore OMHH Red, RED Room.
Okay. All
Yeah.
righty. So what's next? We're expanding the
We're
brand.
expanding the brand.
Um,
I didn't tell you this, but this is really
okay.
important. So, this is our 6th year. We have an event called International I Love Braids Day. And it is such a big event for me. We have 2 proclamations so far, one in New Jersey and one in Brooklyn. July 29th is the official International I Love Braids Day, and it is an opportunity to celebrate the culture, beauty, and history of braids. And so we
Oh, how
use that
wonderful.
as an opportunity. We invite salon to participate and we showcase amazing hair.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it's a one-day
It's
event
a 1 day event. Now, if it falls
in
on a weekend,
July?
it's always July 29th. Always, always,
Okay.
always, always. And so sometimes it's a 2 day event. I'm already planning uh, July 29th, 2023. It will be back in
Okay.
Bed-Stuy. We just came back from Trenton. We're trying to get to Ghana. So we have so much in store for
Wow.
International Isla Braids Day. So I'm super excited about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we will definitely have you back in advance of
Yes.
that so that we can get a tribe of folks out to see and support
Yes.
you.
Yes. Yes.
Um, Thank you so much,
You're
Deborah,
welcome.
for being here, for sharing your story, for resharing even some of the most painful parts of your story,
Yeah.
but they are lessons for all of us. And I know that your presence here has enriched everyone who's listening.
Well, thank you, Sonia.
So.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you all for listening. And we'll be back again next week with another great guest. Take care.
The Business First podcast is hosted and produced by Sonia Aline. Associate producer, Ariel Mancibo. Executive producer, Ken Johnson. Find the Business First podcast on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, or wherever you get your podcasts. And on social at business_first_podcast on IG. The Business First podcast is a Mean Old Line Media production.